Hey guys, let's continue thinking about deep ideas and learn advanced Russian at the same time. Those are lessons for the thinking Russian students. And today we're going to continue with 5 запрещенных картин русских художников. How do you like this subject, by the way? Like it? I like it a lot. That's very interesting. So, 5 banned pictures of Russian painters. I hope you have printed out this article. If not, you're welcome to do that. If by any reason you cannot, you always have the link below this video, so that you can at least open it on your own screen. And I'm going to show you where we stopped the last time. Today we're going to start with number 4, with prohibited, like banned picture number 4. Please look here and find this place, look at the screen, and find this place with your article. That's Nikolai G. It's the name of the painter. Что есть истина? Истина means truth. So, что есть истина? What is truth? Now, guys, usually in Russian, you do not have this structure, what is, because есть here acts as is. But that's literary Russian. So, for example, when you ask this kind of very big, very significant questions, you might ask, что есть любовь? What is love? Что есть истина? Okay, so that's the picture. And let's see what they're saying here. And they're saying that this picture is located in Tretьяковская галерея, so Третьяков Gallery. And it goes the following. Картина Г изображает эпизод суда прокуратора Понтия Пилата над Иисусом Христом, а именно момент, когда Пилат задает Иисусу вопрос, оставшийся в тот момент без ответа. Now please pay attention, we'll go over the vocabulary. Изображает depicts. Therefore, картина Г изображает would be the picture of Г, the painter, depicts. Эпизод суда. So, суда comes from суд, which is a court hearing. Please underline. Therefore, эпизод суда, the episode of a court hearing. Прокуратор. You probably like procurator, I think in English they call it. And that was ruler of the place where Jesus lived, yeah? Of Judea. Ponti Pilate, that's Russian name for Pontius Pilate. So therefore, let's see how it works at the beginning of the sentence. Картина Г изображает эпизод суда прокуратора Понтия Пилата над Иисусом Христом. The picture of G depicts the episode of a court hearing by the procurator Pontius Pilate on or over Jesus Christ. Like in English, we probably wouldn't say that. Like court hearing over, we would say regarding. But if you notice, nad in Russian, that's over or above something. So in Russian, that would be the court hearing over something. But in English, that would be regarding. А именно момент, so именно means specifically. Therefore, а именно момент, that would be and specifically the moment. And now, just reminding you that to pose a question, the Russian expression is задавать вопрос. Therefore, когда Пилат задает Иисусу вопрос, we'll translate that as when Pilate poses a question for Jesus. Оставшийся в тот момент без ответа. So, оставшийся, you can underline and write above, remaining. В тот момент, at that moment, без ответа, without an answer. Now, please see how it all works together. Картина Г изображает эпизод суда прокуратора Понтия Пилата над Иисусом Христом. The picture of G depicts the episode of a court hearing by the procurator Pontius Pilate regarding Jesus Christ, а именно момент, когда Пилат задает Иисусу вопрос, and specifically the moment when Pilate poses for Jesus a question, оставшийся в тот момент без ответа, remaining at that moment without an answer. Картина была впервые представлена на выставке передвижников в 1890 году, но вызвала бурную реакцию и по распоряжению Священного Синода была снята с экспозиции. Okay. So, let's go over the vocabulary. Впервые means first, or initially. Впервые, first. Представлена means presented. Therefore, картина была впервые представлена. The picture was first presented. На выставке. So, what was выставка? Do you remember? Выставка? It was exhibition. So, на выставке, at the exhibition. And do you remember I explained, I think it was the last time, what was передвижники? Передвижников comes from передвижники. And передвижники means movers, like literally, передвижники comes from передвигаться, which means to move from place to place. So передвижники would be the movers from one place to another. And it was a group of Russian painters around that time, in the Tsarist Russia, who believed in the idea that art should be presented to all the people and not only the residents of big cities. So, therefore, they say, картина была впервые представлена на выставке передвижников в 1890 году. So, the picture was first presented at the exhibition of this group of painters called movers in 1980. Но вызвала бурную реакцию. So, вызвала means invoked. Вызвать means invoked. For example, вызвать рвоту. Do you know what it means? It means to invoke vomiting. Рвота means vomit. Yeah? Invoke. So, но вызвала бурную реакцию. Бурный means tumultuous. You know, like full of very strong reactions. Very strong emotions. I think in English you can say tumultuous. Реакцию. So, бурная реакция, but we'll just translate that as a strong reaction. Но вызвала бурную реакцию, but invoked a strong reaction. И по распоряжению Священного Синода. So, по распоряжению means by the order. Распоряжение means order to do something. And Священный Synod, the Holy Synod, that was the main administrative body regulating body of Russian Church, Russian Orthodox Church. So that would be Священный Synod. So, была снята с экспозиции. So, была снята с was, so, снять means to remove. So, была снята was removed from. Была снята с. Was removed from the exposition, meaning from the exhibition, basically. So, actually, exposiция, you can even translate that as display. That would be even more correct. So now let's see what was here. Картина была впервые представлена на выставке передвижников в 1890 году. Но вызвала бурную реакцию, и по распоряжению Священного Синода была снята с экспозиции. The picture was first shown or presented at the exhibition of the movers in 1890. But invoked strong, like tumultuous, reaction. And by the order of the Holy Synod, was taken out of the display. Was taken off the display. Interesting, huh? Now they're explaining why, by the way. So, now please listen to this whole paragraph. You will get it much better. Картина Г изображает эпизод суда прокуратора Понтия Пилата над Иисусом Христом. А именно момент, когда Пилат задает Иисусу вопрос, оставшийся в тот момент без ответа. Картина была впервые представлена на выставке передвижников в 1890 году, но вызвала бурную реакцию и по распоряжению Священного Синода была снята с экспозиции. We continue. Дело в том, что она не соответствовала тогда ни культурной, ни церковной, ни живописной традиции. So, great sentence. Please underline «дело в том, что». That's one expression. And it means the point is that. Соответствовало means matched. Соответствовало. So, therefore, when they say «она не соответствовала», «она», meaning the painter, the картина, картина that's feminine in Russian, она не соответствовала would be it didn't match. Тогда means then, at that period of time. And then we have the structure ни. It means neither, nor, nor. So, ни культурной, ни церковной, ни живописной традиции, that would be neither the cultural, nor the church, nor painting. Живописной comes from живопись, which is painting in general, as a field. Живописной, that's an adjective. But, so, ни культурной, ни церковной, ни живописной традиции would be neither cultural, nor the church, nor painting tradition. So now see, now they're explaining why it was taken off that exhibition. Дело в том, что она не соответствовала тогда ни культурной, ни церковной, ни живописной традиции. The point is that it, она, like picture, it didn't match then, neither cultural, nor church, nor painting tradition. Иисус стоит в глухой тени, в то время как фигуру Понтия Пилата заливает солнечный свет. Это шло вразрез давней традиции интерпретировать Иисуса как человека абсолютно светлого. So, let's go over the vocabulary. В глухой тени, please underline it as one expression. It means, тень means shade. So, в глухой here, you know, глухой in other context might mean deaf. Someone who cannot hear. But in this case, it means in the dark or in the complete shade. So, в глухой тени, in a complete shade. В то время как means while, фигуру Понтия Пилата заливает солнечный свет. In English, we would place the words in a different order, because солнечный свет here, in this part of the sentence, is the subject. So, and заливает means, when you talk about свет, about light, свет заливает, it means the light is shining on something. So, заливает, please write, is shining. So, в то время, so Jesus stands in a deep, so глухой basically means deep, in a deep shade. В то время как фигуру Понтия Пилата заливает солнечный свет. At the time when, or while the sunlight, солнечный свет, right, sunlight is shining at the figure of Pontius Pilate. Can you see the difference in the word order? Because в то время как, but in Russian, literally, while the figure of Pontius Pilate, shining the sunlight. You understand? And notice that it's not passive, it's active. Therefore, in English, that would make more sense. Sunlight is shining at the figure of Pontius Pilate. So again, okay. And then, это шло вразрез давней традиции. Шло вразрез, please underline it as one expression. And it means it was opposite to. It was opposite to, or it was the contrary to. Давний means old, ancient. Therefore, это шло вразрез давней традиции. It was opposite of the ancient tradition. Интерпретировать Иисуса, to interpret Jesus, как человека абсолютно светлого, as a person who is absolutely, so светлый means light. But light as an adjective, the opposite of dark. So you have светлый, you have темный, which is dark. So абсолютно светлого, absolutely light. So now please see, you will need your attention and concentration to follow me, because this sentence is not so easy. Иисус стоит в глухой тени, в то время как фигуру Понтия Пилата заливает солнечный свет. Jesus is standing in a deep shade, while the sunlight is shining at the figure of Pontius Pilate. Это шло вразрез давней традиции, интерпретировать Иисуса как человека абсолютно светлого. That was opposite to the old tradition, to interpret Jesus as a person absolutely light. Иисус выглядит измученным и маленьким, лишенным значительности по сравнению с прокуратором. Выглядит means looks like. So, измученным comes from измученный. It might be exhausted. It might be tormented. I will translate that as tormented. That's измученный, because in this context I think it fits better. Лишенным comes from лишенный, which is lacking. So, лишенным значительности. Значительность means significance. So, lacking significance. По сравнению с прокуратором. По сравнению с, compared to. Procurator, procurator, which means Pontius Pilate. So let's see. Иисус выглядит измученным и маленьким, лишенным значительности по сравнению с прокуратором. Jesus looks tormented and small, lacking significance compared to the procurator. Все это не принимала не только церковь, но и многие художники. So again, in English, we would put the word order differently, because церковь here is a subject, and не принимала is a verb. So все это не принимала не только церковь. So all that, not only the church did not accept, но и многие художники, but also many of the painters. So многие means many of. And I hope you got the first part. Все это не принимала не только церковь. So all that didn't accept not only the church. So not only the church did not accept that, but also many painters. Поначалу картину даже отказался приобретать коллекционер Павел Третьяков. Однако позже изменить свое мнение его уговорил Лев Толстой. So again, the order of the words would be different, but you will get it. Поначалу means first, or initially. Даже even. Отказался refused. Приобретать to purchase. Коллекционер means like one who collects something. In this case, paintings. So коллекционер would be collector, and in this case, art collector. Однако means however. Позже, just notice you pronounce позже, not позже. Позже, later on. Изменить, to change. Свое мнение, мнение, opinion. Его уговорил. Уговорил means convinced. Уговорил, Leo Tolstoy. So I will translate that first to the improper English, just to keep the Russian word order. But later on I will read it again and translate that into the correct English. Поначалу картину даже отказался приобретать коллекционер Павел Третьяков. Однако позже изменить свое мнение его уговорил Лев Толстой. Initially, the painting even refused to purchase the collector Pavel Tretьяков. However, later on, to change his opinion, him convinced Leo Tolstoy. You see, you probably got it, but it sounds weird, right? Now, I will read it again and translate that into the proper English. Поначалу картину даже отказался приобретать коллекционер Павел Третьяков, однако позже изменить свое мнение его уговорил Лев Толстой. Initially, the collector Pavel Tretьяков even refused to purchase the picture. However, later on, Leo Tolstoy convinced him to change his idea. You see? Now it works, right? So look, I'm going to translate now. Sorry, I'm going to read now this whole paragraph. You're going to get it much, much better. We're going to say goodbye. So now they're explaining why this picture was refused. Дело в том, что она не соответствовала тогда ни культурной, ни церковной, ни живописной традиции. Иисус стоит в глухой тени, в то время как фигуру Понтия Пилата заливает солнечный свет. Это шло вразрез давней традиции интерпретировать Иисуса как человека абсолютно светлого. Иисус выглядит измученным и маленьким, лишенным значительности по сравнению с прокуратором. Все это не принимала не только церковь, но и многие художники. Поначалу картину даже отказался приобретать коллекционер Павел Третьяков. Однако позже изменить свое мнение его уговорил Лев Толстой. Okay, guys, so thank you so much. You were great. You advanced very well. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please subscribe and like the video. If you have any Russian students whose interests would fall into this category of different historical articles, thought-provoking articles, please recommend this channel to them. And if you need my personal help with your Russian, you are welcome to contact me using the email below, and I'll explain how it works. We can have our first meeting for free. It's going to open your eyes at many aspects of Russian, and then you can decide whether you want to continue with the paid program or not. That's your decision, and that's also fine if you don't. So thank you so much, guys. Ciao, ciao.